continues our stakeholders dialogue to make Volta Lake inland water transport system facilitation expansion of trade and economic activities in Ghana.
A call to regulate the use of mercury while highlighting the effect of mercury poisoning on lives and the environment.
A call to regulate the use of, I beg your pardon, the Finance Ministry describes action taken by Roads Minister to stop collection of road tolls as administrative.
And police in Uganda kills 5 suspects and arrests 21 others while investigating twin suicide bombings claimed by Islamic State group. Hello, good evening. Welcome to News Hour live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. We are also live on GTV and streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Micheline Tucker.
I am Abdul Hayi Mumin, and Jonathan is helping us with the sign language interpretation of the news. The news in detail. The government says it is on course with measures to make safety a priority on the Volta Lake. Among the number of interventions is the removal of tree stumps to minimize the frequency of boat accidents on the lake.
The Volta Lake is essential in Ghana's transportation system and a major transport link within the Eastern Multimodal Transport Corridor. To ensure safety on the lake, tree stumps have been removed at the crossings at Dambai to Dambai Overbank, among others.
Facilities to be provided under the project facilitate transport on the lake include the supply of 5 vessels, integrated management system, construction of slipway, and a total of 10 landing sites. A feasibility study for a proposed Volta Lake improvement project has been completed with support from the Korean Exim Bank.
The Ministry of Transport under the Transport Sector Improvement Project engaged its partners to undertake a comprehensive assessment study for the development of the Volta Lake inland water transport system. At the stakeholders' engagement, key findings and recommendations on the final report included the rehabilitation and maintenance of the Volta Lake to facilitate the rapid expansion of trade and economic activities in Ghana.
We lack an integrated transport system, and much at the same time, various transport infrastructure facilities are also supposed to be, or they are said to have run down. And if that is the case, then the supply situation would be affected, and that is why we begin to experience some of these happenings in the sector.
Inland water transport has been identified as a key component of an integrated transport network to provide cost-effective transportation for socio-economic development of communities around the lake. For GBC News, Ofriwa Dako reporting.
The fear of residents in the coastal communities in the Volta region is that their history will be washed away if a lasting solution is not found to perennial tidal waves eating into their land. The appeal of the people is for the government to take immediate steps towards this, failing which there will be no place to call home. The communities met with the select committee for works and housing on a visit.
Ever since this devastation started, I've just been lodging with my brothers who are, some of them are in the church building here. I've been lodging with them, and the only room left for me is the kitchen. For the kitchen, I harbor all my children in the kitchen. So now I
Over 3,000 residents got displaced when the recent tidal waves ate into some communities along the eastern coastline in the Volta region. Parliament's Works and Housing Committee's visit was a directive from the Speaker for the team to assess and recommend a lasting solution to the perennial problem. The team first stopped in the Ketu South constituency. Here, over 1,000 people lost their homes. Most of the victims had to travel elsewhere to put up with relatives, while others are housed in this church building. Out of the 14 kilometers of the land that must be protected, only 4.3 of it has been worked on in the first phase of the Blekusu Sea Defense Project. Unfortunately, government says its financial allocation for such projects can only cover 5 kilometers. The Member of Parliament for the area, Ms. Ablanjifa Gomashi, says her people are not happy about the many promises from government on this issue. On the part of the Municipal Chief Executive, Mr. Maxwell Lugudo, he believes the best solution for now will be a complete relocation of the people to this area, but that will mean construction of accommodation and an access road over this river. The worst affected by the recent disaster were the people of Fuveme. 3 people, including a baby, are reported to have died. Over 1,000 more had their homes destroyed, with the school children being relocated here. The Member of Parliament believes the effect could have been less catastrophic if the routine dredging by the Volta River Authority had continued. He says this can be done until the sea defense wall is completed.
PRA was responsible for the dredging of the mouth of the river. If it's done, the river flows freely into the sea. And it can flow, depending on the speed, it can push it back about 10 kilometers. It breaks the tides. You understand? If it breaks the tide, the effect of coming to hit the ground is becoming minimal.
The chairman of the select committee, Mr. Isaac Isiama, said the disaster was worse than assumed, and this warrants an immediate and permanent solution.
I can assure you, honorable members that joined us from these communities, that this committee is concerned about the plight of your people, or the people of Ghana, the Ghanaians. We are going to do whatever it takes to ensure that it receives a national priority, a national attention.
The acting director of the Department of Hydrology at the Ministry of Works and Housing, Mr. Owusu Ansa, said the sea defense project is capital intensive, and the government is finding ways to not only invest in the project but also earn some revenue. For the people of Fuveme, he promised that the Ministry of Works and Housing would engage with the Volta River Authority to ensure that the dredging of the Volta River continues.
In other news, piracy, human trafficking, illegal maritime threats and armed robbery in the Gulf of Guinea are challenges that sailors and shippers face on the high seas. The Board of Governors of the Regional Maritime University has met to discuss seafaring efficiency and maritime security in the sub-region.
The agreement signed between the maritime organizations of West and Central Africa, MOCA, and the government of Ghana almost 40 years ago was designed to promote regional cooperation in the maritime industry, focusing on training to ensure sustained growth and development of the industry. At the opening of the 26th Regional Maritime University Board of Governors meeting in Accra, the participants were encouraged to take seriously the efficient manpower needs and skills set required to meet the highest standards.
RMU is in need of member state contributions to enable it run efficiently and effectively. In this regard, I am pleading with my colleague ministers to please do everything in our powers to ensure that these contributions are paid on time.
The Minister for Transport, Mr. Kweku Esiama, noted that the government of Ghana remains committed to strengthening its collaborations with member states to ensure that there are enough capacities, both technical and managerial, for the growth of the maritime industry. For this reason, the government continues to invest heavily to improve teaching and learning infrastructure at the Regional Maritime University. The Board of Governors included a committee of experts from Ghana, Cameroon, the Gambia, Sierra Leone and Liberia. For GBC News, Yaira Lawe reporting.
Discussions to regulate effective mercury use in Ghana has begun in Accra, with stakeholders drafting strategies the country can use to ensure safety of individuals and the environment against mercury pollution. The stakeholder engagement is the second phase of the implementation of the Minamata Convention, which Ghana became a signatory to in September 2014.
This is how mercury looks like, a chemical element which is commonly known as quicksilver. Its uses comes in diverse ways. However, according to the expert, the unregulated use of mercury in some products can pose a harmful global challenge in the form of mercury poisoning. Mercury poisoning can lead to the damage of the human organs, especially the kidneys, brain, skin, and some birth defects. The need to protect individuals and the environment became important when the world's attention was drawn to the deadly mercury poisoning in the mid-1950s, when the people of Minamata, a village in Japan, began to notice their cats were going crazy and falling into the sea. Some people thought the cats were simply committing suicide. Soon, the strange illness began to affect the people. The people of Minamata reported numbness in their limbs and lips. Some had difficulty breathing or seeing. Others developed shaky or tremors in their hands and legs, difficulty walking, and even brain damage. In 1959, researchers from Kumamoto University discovered the source of the illness, which were high levels of mercury poisoning, and named it the Minamata disease. In 2013, 140 countries signed the treaty designed to protect human health and the environment from the deadly compounds. Ghana, however, became a signatory in 2014. In Ghana, for over 2 decades, many local and internationally coordinated initiatives undertaken to mitigate its harmful effects have been mostly unsuccessful. For instance, mercury use in the hospital has become a growing problem, especially how its contamination is not visible to the human eye, although its impact can be harmful.
A lot of studies have gone into it. That's why globally we have come to the point that we must make mercury history, meaning that we don't need it any longer for use, even though it has been quite useful for us in our development.
As part of the process of implementing the Round 2 of the Minamata Convention, project implementers are focusing on the health sector. According to them, the trickling effect of mercury poisoning in the sector could be dangerous.
Health workers in Ghana are resilient and very cooperative in some of these things, especially when it concerns their own health. The risk here is not to just patients. We actually use the thermometers, we use the sphygmomanometers, we use the amalgam. You may use it for one patient, but you are going, the one patient, the risk is different from you who sees 10 patients in a day using the same material. So I believe the health workers will cooperate, give us the relevant data that we need, and then when it is time, they will champion the need to phase out mercury-based devices in the system.
The stakeholder meeting brought to the table experts from the EPA, Ghana Health Service, SEBS, Ghana Standards Authority, the World Health Organization, UNDP, among others. Reporting for GBC News, Gifty J, Accra.
In some other news, some toll booth workers, mostly persons with disability, are not happy with the directive from the Roads and Highways Minister to stop the tolls collection. The workers want government to reverse the directive immediately because it will affect their work. Our TEMA regional correspondent Michael Dewonu has been to the TEMA toll plaza where the workers have gathered since morning, hoping to hear some official communication asking them to go back to their duty posts.
Since the finance minister presented the 2022 budget to Parliament, one major issue that came up has to do with the removal of toll on all public routes, and the controversy continues. Immediately after the budget presentation, the Minister for Roads and Highways directed that tolls be suspended with immediate effect. The Speaker of Parliament says that directive should be reversed, otherwise it would be a contempt of Parliament. We are here at the TEMA Plaza of the toll booth. We are told that after the reading of the budget, drivers were in fisticuffs with you people. They were having confrontations with you. That is why the minister took that decision to make sure that your lives are protected.
Oh, for that one, it's a big lie. I'll tell you, Frank, 100% that's a big lie. I'm a person with disability. The government came and realized that persons with disability deserve to work, and he employed most of us at the various toll stations. Now, beggars on the street are less. This closure of toll booth is going to increase beggars on the street.
It is just a simple message they are sending out to the government. They are just pleading with the government to make sure that this particular decision of removing the tolls on our public road be reversed, and so that they can come back to work and for their families. Reporting for GBC News, Michael Dewonu report.
At the Pualugu toll booth in the Upper East region, commuters and traders are unhappy that the collection of tolls have been suspended.
Here is the Pualugu toll booth in the Taransi district of the Upper East region. This particular spot has always been busy because of the toll booth here, but today the place looks virtually empty because of the closure of the toll booth. We have a lot of women here in the onion, yellow melon business, and we want to find out from them how the closure of the toll booth is affecting their business.
They are not buying. When they get back, they pass, don't stop. So as another, they say they are free. So when the cars came, this month, if I came, I even didn't get any test on it.
It's affecting the business in this area because mostly the cars park and then the traders around here are able to sell some of their products.
Toll booth workers here are also making a lot of money because this particular stretch of road connects Ghana to its neighboring countries, Burkina Faso through Paga, Namor, and to Togo through Homacom. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama reporting.
Deputy Minister of Finance, Dr. John Kuma, has explained in details why government scrapped the road toll on all public roads and bridges as indicated in the 2022 budget presented last Wednesday. He described the action taken by the Roads and Transport Minister to stop the collection of the tolls as administrative decision. He says that all toll regime is inequitable, inefficient and an impediment to productivity. Meanwhile, the government has made plans for heavy-duty trucks from neighboring countries to go through the weighing scale system in order for the country not to lose revenue from that side. The Deputy Finance Minister said this at a post-budget news briefing here in Accra.
We found the road toll to be inequitable. We found it to be inefficient. And we found the road toll to be impeding productivity. These are the three reasons why we decided. So when we say the road toll is inequitable, what we mean is that if you come to the plush areas, the residential areas in Accra, have you seen any road tolls here? But check the kind of properties we have here and the kind of people who can afford these places. They don't pay road toll. But if you go to Kaswa, TEMA motorway, Ashamai, if you cross it 10 times from Kaswa to Malam, if you're a trotro driver and you're using that with 20 times in, 20 times out, multiply that in a day, that's how much the poor person pays. So we thought that it was inequitable, and so we should scrap it and put it on something that can cover everybody. Ghana was getting 78 million Ghana cedis from the road tolls that we collect in our country. And so people have asked, what will happen to those who were working there? They will all keep their jobs. Nobody is going home. We are only reassigning them. Foreign trucks that come from Burkina and Mali into Ghana, they are not part of these exemptions.
but their trucks go through a weighing scale system. So there's still opportunity for Ghana to collect any charges we want to collect from them for the usage of our roads. The unproductivity of the whole system, where you have to be in traffic for 30 minutes to 1 hour just to go and pay 1 cedi. If you check the productivity cost and the fuel you burn, we found that it was unproductive and hampering the objective of government. And we believe that we can put that on the new levy which we have proposed called the e-levy.
For many countries, tourism has shored up their national kitty. Ghana abounds with many unique tourist sites with the potential of raking in lots of revenue, but unfortunately, most of these natural sites are underdeveloped. One such tourist site which falls under this category is the Butuase waterfall in the eastern region. Located in the Kwewu East district, the Butuase waterfall was formerly a location for performing sacred traditional rites for the people of Kwewu Tafo. In recent times, the waterfall has attracted many tourists. In our Tour Ghana series today, we bring you yet another breathtaking sight to behold, the Butuase waterfall.
The route to the Butuase waterfall from Kwewu Praeso to Tafo takes about half an hour. It was an enjoyable ride with beautiful scenes and hills on that stretch. Trekking to the place will take a traveler about 1,515 steps or a kilometer walk to the Butuase waterfall. The pathway leading to the tourist site is an untrodden surface, an indication that it is still a virgin site. The trees looked timeless and ancient as they disappeared into the sky, rough with age, yet their roughness worn down by the soft greenness. From a distance, it looked deserted, until one descends the hill to the waterfall. Descending the hilly stairs too comes with its own challenges, especially on a rainy day. The Butuase waterfall has belonged to the people of Kwewu for over 10 decades. The beautiful water flows from a height of approximately 11.56 meters high. From history, the waterfall takes its source from 7 different rivers within the Kwewu enclave. Butuase is surrounded by different tree species and mini rocks which are naturally placed at vantage points. It is also blessed with a rock canopy for visitors which creates a conducive atmosphere to relax, meditate, party and even read.
This rock canopy, which is about, I'll say, the biggest I can think of, because 800 people can be under and no raindrop will fall on them. And this place is an ecotourism center.
History has it that Butuase was once a sacred place for the people of Kwewu. It was a dedicated location for certain traditional rites to appease the gods of the land in the days of old.
When we started thinking of making it commercial, Nananom took care of the traditional aspect of it, and so now it's a commercial place and there is no sacred day that one should not come here. The only thing here is we will plead not to offend anybody, but when the ladies are in their menses, they should try not to get into the water.
Ghana is blessed with many tourist sites which are untapped. Most of these places are not even known to be harnessed. So, the question is, what is the way forward in turning these tourist sites into revenue-raking locations? Nature has blessed Ghana with many beautiful sites, including the Butuase waterfall. Many are calling for a deliberate policy direction in transforming these sites to meet international standards. For starters, they say the bad roads leading to these sites must be fixed to attract domestic and foreign tourists. They also list decent accommodation and recreational centers to make the visits easier and more enjoyable. The people of Kwehutafo are therefore calling on all for partnership to make tourist sites like the Butuase waterfall more attractive for the benefits of all.
Well, as part of activities to mark World Toilet Day, the Waste Segregation and Composition Movement, in collaboration with Say No to Single-Use Plastics, have embarked on a tree planting exercise at the premises of GBC. The exercise brought together various organizations to plant the trees.
World Toilet Day is an official United Nations International Observance Day to inspire action to tackle the global sanitation crisis. The day is used to inform, engage and inspire people to take action towards achieving this goal. Representatives from GBC, government, local assemblies, faith-based organizations, embassies and universities planted trees at the premises of GBC.
That will sustain and preserve nature. Thank you very much.
The Chief Executive for Waste Segregation and Composition Movement, Mr. Malik Irera, says the tree planting exercise is a campaign to remind everyone to keep the environment clean.
This is supposed to go to the landfill. Everything you are seeing here, the soil is from the food waste, and then this seed is from the PSLS at ACCRA Technical University. So if every student plant one, we can have about 500,000 seedlings, so that by June next year, we can plant more seedlings out of it. So this is the reason why we are planting on the World Toilet Day, to remind everyone not to just throw anything anyhow.
A representative of the Association of Spouses of Heads of Mission, Madame Rachel Andrews, says it is important to take good care of our environment. She encouraged every household to own a toilet.
Toilets are such an important part of our everyday life that we take for granted, so plant a tree, say no to single-use plastics, support toilets, and thank you very much, Ghana.
Ghana is ranked second in the world engaged in open defecation. The UN General Assembly declared World Toilet Day an official UN day in 2013 after Singapore had tabled the resolution before the UN's General Assembly of 193 member states.
Still to come, business, sports and entertainment. Tuesday.
We'll be right back.
to Business, brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. My name is Morris Obrite. Welcome back. We still have some more stories on the 2022 budget, and a Deputy Minister for Finance, Dr. John Kuma, has been giving much more details about the e-levy in the 2022 budget. Let's take a listen.
Before government introduced the e-levy tax, in the past 1.5 years, government put a consultant and a team together to do a research to advise government on how we can introduce a digital tax. They spoke to about 10,000 Ghanaians and received feedback on how such a tax could be introduced so that we do not disrupt the growth of digital progression in our country. The report stated that about 40% of Momo users in Ghana were people who sent monies below 100 Ghana cedis a day. Per the research, we were able to identify that poor group. So in this e-levy that we have introduced, we have exempted all the 40% category. They are not part of this levy. So the first 100 cedis of every mobile transaction in a day is exempted from this, so that we cover all the 40 and even more, because beyond the 40%, above 100, the first 100 Ghana cedis is exempted, even if you are above the 40%. So everybody gets benefit from the first 100 cedis. It is only the sender who will be charged all transactions from your Momo account to your bank account. You don't pay anything. And if you transfer money from your bank account to your Momo account, you are not paying anything. It's not covered. It is when you transfer Momo from your account to another account, the traditional transfers that they do, the bank have charges on those transfers. The e-transaction will affect the bank transactions, the bank fees, not the customer's funds. Now, merchant payments using the POS and QR code, they are seen as digital transactions, so they will be covered. We have heard suggestions from people that at a point of a certain amount, we should cap it. That proposal has been received, but decision is not taken yet. When we take that decision, we will announce it to you so that collectively we can build a system that is acceptable to all of us so that we can build a good country.
And away from the budget, a dialogue on healthcare financing towards the attainment of universal health coverage has been held in Accra between the National Health Insurance Authority and its partners, Farm Access. It was disclosed that the authority is considering the inclusion of preventive health insurance onto the scheme to offset the huge burden on its expenditure.
The National Health Insurance Scheme is a typical healthcare financing model. The National Health Insurance Levy and net contributions constitutes about 90% of NHIS inflows, with premiums and registration making up 10%. These inflows cater for expenditure such as claim payment, administrative costs, and a mandatory 10% allocation to the Ministry of Health. Although the scheme has been increasing tariffs at 20% per annum, it has had to digitalize the services of high-volume providers such as tertiary healthcare facilities as a cost control measure of the scheme. The high-volume providers contribute to 30% of claims. Was recently reviewed to include childhood cancers and family planning services based on the scheme's actuarial projection.
We've been in surplus for 4 years and it keeps rising. We are in good standing. Our GDP is going up. But additions and changes in our benefit package has an implication, and we must do it step by step in an evidence-based way. This is from WHO, their assessment of our out-of-pocket expenditure. We have dropped from 60% to 37%. We still need to get below 20%.
The country director for Farm Access and team lead for the NHIS data analytic team, Dr. Maxwell Entry, said maternity care and non-communicable diseases, digestive tract, malaria and respiratory infections are the main drivers of NHIS expenditure. Antibiotics prescription also contributes to the highest medicine cost. However, the removal of value-added taxes on essential medicines, he added, has led to a 30% reduction in the cost of medicines. The team recommended 100% digitalization of claims management, healthcare gatekeeping, health promotion, disease prevention, among others. The board chair, Dr. Enespuni Kwaku, assured the public that miscreant providers will be fished out and dealt with. He said the benefits package will be reviewed based on actuarial projections in order not to overburden and collapse the scheme. To curtail the cost of curative care, the NHIA is considering the inclusion of preventive healthcare insurance where wellness clinics will be covered by the scheme. The screening for the various diseases, it noted, can lead to early detection and treatment. Cyril for GBC News, Accra.
We go to the interbank forex market where the local currency is trading at 5 cedis 91 pesos to the US dollar and going for 7 cedis 96 pesos to the pound sterling. The euro at 6 cedis 70 pesos. We also bring you updates on latest prices of major commodities on the international market. And is brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool.
Can have access to
Good evening and welcome to the energy segment. I'm Dominic Kronoji. The call to staff of the VOLTA River Authority, VRA, is to be safety conscious and work effectively to sustain